Islamic University in Mbale.
But
Let me tell you, the issue of youth and the issue of the youth which was there was not the issue of just election. It was instrumentalizing the issue of money into an election. That you don't give us money, we don't vote. That's how it started. Now, when we managed them, I simply told them money is actually supposed to be given at the district level by district administrators. Here you've come to vote. And we managed them.
So can I answer your question?
Yes.
No,
Dr. Chris.
Their money was there.
Okay, presently, yes, President Yoweri Museveni is a central pillar in NRM. And yes, he holds many things together. But when he retires, the NRM party will not collapse. And that was actually the central theme of my campaign, that we need to do everything possible to strengthen the institutional framework within NRM so that the party is able to outlive us who are in leadership.
Founders.
Yeah, the founders, and even us who are in leadership. And so the answer is, yes, even when President Yoweri Museveni leaves tomorrow, the party shall remain. We are there. We have millions of, when we compile the register, we have a membership of about 20 million Ugandans.
And I'm going to come back to
those
that.
are not the president's biological children, those are Ugandans all over the country. So will they die if the president retires? They will be there. We just need a strong leadership
you had a comment
to keep the party moving.
Yes. One time there was a report by BBC about the independence political parties, and CCM, ANC, ZANU, I think about only 6 were still surviving. If you go to Kenya, KANU, that once was a mass might party, they don't even have an MP in parliament. This party that has this, first of all, we are under military government by military general. The NRM is a state party, and all state parties are going to be that size of the NRM. I have told the people here, when Obote was going to change every year, they were removing us from schools to go and line up the roads. And we begin singing for an Obote who was in a Mercedes Benz, not even hearing us, as he was going to Bushenyi. Obote yanunula Uganda yafe n'amajege galwananga nnyo obutediriza. Dr. Oboto wangale mama. Nyamulunga would follow because we are there all day. And the man just passes. In 1 minute he has left. He hasn't even stopped to see and hear us sing. The people who were in UPC, Dr. Waliomus, we are not Milton Obote's biological children. They disappeared. Even in Bushenyi where he was going, they are not there. They are now only in an enclave called Rango. So state parties will inevitably collapse when they lose state power. This particular party is the Museveni party. That's why they have appropriated state institutions and turned them into NRM. They go to State House for meetings. That's where they eat. They pay the allowances from taxpayers' money. Pay their bills go to Kololo, which is a public facility. They are the only ones who can access it, close roads, do everything. The moment Museveni leaves, maybe you have seen, Andrew has just left, his son tweeted and he said, now them, Pirao, they are the youth wing of NRM. Military serving military general. So they are not the idea by people who are constructing parties. And I'll tell you, this country has changed a great deal. I was a journalist covering the Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. The first Political Parties and Organizations Act that was brought before the committee, that is, was even before the referendum of 2005. Members of that committee, the Ben Watchers, the Honorable Dan Wandero Galo, Medikagwa, and others, the lawyers, they agreed in the committee that for us to give a country a better law on political parties without prejudices, Ben Wacha, who was chairing the committee, and I think he who were known to be opposition, and Amaratu and others, they said, let Medi Kagwa be the one to make the presentation. They will not think because it was NRM. Because Museveni was proposing that parties must operate only at headquarters. And NRM being NRM, see, many of NRM MPs don't read. Maybe they only read their names. They passed the law until Museveni detected and he returned it. But the point that I'm making is
was it only NRM supposed to read the bill?
But the opposition knew. That's why they offered it to NRM to be the one. It is Medi Kagwa who presented it. So the country has changed. I think we need to be having a conversation about the quality of our own elections, including internal party processes. And that's why if you read the constitution and the law on political parties by law are supposed to be democratically, internally democratically, they're supposed to be national in character. Building political parties was supposed to be partly a public duty that will go and build, because one of them inevitably will be in power tomorrow. Even the conversation, I don't have to celebrate if NRM is having these sort of elections or any other party, because in particular this party is in charge of all our affairs. And we will have the same conversation about electoral commission when elections fail. The temptation is to go for those who were at the helm of elections and then forget the rest of the people. Because you see, for the NRM elections, and that's why only maybe someone who is insane will blame Tango Odoi. They know their own problem, because the people who were splashing money, that money was not given by Tango Odoi. So that's not a crime you can accuse him. I have said this one is a hangerman. His job was to deliver.
To cut off the head.
So they said, Chris chop off the head. That one I have finished, sir. So bring another one. So in the future, and I think because when Chris joined the parliament and others, the conversation was about the country. How do we make our country better? How do we make processes, even whether an institution is private, whether an institution is public, because all these institutions ultimately serve the public. That conversation has gone out. We are now in a partisan discussion. Tango Odoi will celebrate if there is a failure in NOPA and PFF. Abariomunsi will tell you, for us, we are a mass party. Because if in a multi-party democracy you have only one party, there is absolutely nothing to celebrate about. That for us, we have covered from Chisolo to where you were not there. Why did Museveni go to, in his party, this Museveni, who is very smart in building parties, his UPM, he had only one MP, Kiyonga, who became an MP because the DP guy was killed. So that's where he came from.
Okay.
He went to Mbarara North and he was defeated by Sam Kutesa. But after capturing power, using a gun, using state resources, removing Makere professors from classrooms to come and chop for him heads of people he doesn't like. Now they say they are a mass party, we are a mass party. Mass where?
Doctor, allow me, let me first
You've allowed this cynical...
No, I'm coming
not cynical. I am telling you, we must have a conversation about improving our processes.
Something that Dr. Tango Odoi said. Provisions, recommendations that were made to SEC. Isn't this an indictment for you, for a process that was as a sham, chaotic as it was, that we put your head on the platter right now?
No, you see, SEC, there is a misunderstanding even of SEC outside there, including even the candidates who were
policy-making organ.
SEC sits only when the chairman has called you to discuss.
So you agree with what Honorable said?
No, and as a matter of fact, we didn't discuss in depth the arrangements for the elections, like the issue of decentralizing or not. We didn't have a discussion on that. What he's referring to is that the commission brought some guidelines on vetting.
But the Honorable Kadaga said you had abandoned the guidelines. That's what she said in Kororo.
I think most of the proposals he was bringing were seen as usurping the powers of SEC. And I think we did not agree to some of them. Like he was saying, there should be an independent committee to vet, and yet the constitution of NRM says SEC. What we were emphasizing was that we must be fair. as
But
we
how can
vet
you,
the candidates.
Chris, how can you be fair when all of you in SEC are all candidates vetting
No,
others
not all of us were
and
candidates.
disqualifying
No,
them?
that's not true.
So, because
Not all of us were candidates.
I don't usually agree with Tango
No,
Odoi, but you can't be
Dr.
candidates
Dr.
vetting
Tanga
and throwing
was
out other
No,
candidates.
not all of us
He's
were
getting
candidates.
the
Was
beating.
Dr. Rugunda a candidate? Was Otafire a candidate? There were many who were not the candidates. So it's not true that all of us were candidates.
You have
And when they were
mentioned 3 out
vetting
of
you,
20.
you would recuse yourself. You would excuse yourself and not be part. Even when we were actually discussing the president as a flag bearer and chairman, we made sure he's not there. He had to excuse himself. So,
But even if they were not contesting in Kololo, they would be they are going to contest in their areas they are coming from, and many of these delegates will also influence the outcome of the election back in the constituencies, and I think that's what makes it complicated for SEC to vet.
not really. I don't think
comes.
this process vetting was the main problem, because we did not even put the complicated criteria. Like when they
No, we mean the vetting that Dr. Tango Odoi
did you
suggested.
review the
That this will
recommendations
be
that came from the Electoral Commission of the NRM as SEC to be able to weigh and see exactly what you have gone through and what he had recommended?
yeah.
No, that was not the sure. What we have gone through, for instance, the security was compromised and non-delegates accessed. That had nothing to do with the vetting. The use of,
Yes.
The decentralization would have cured
that was not discussed actually.
But
It was-
decentralization would have cured that, Honorable Minister.
Yes, even me, I had that view. Actually, we demanded for a meeting, but we never had the chance to discuss the nitty-gritty, like the decentralization would have been a cure for what happened in the
But
Congo.
okay, in case
But
that
we
both-
never discussed
but
it.
in
It's not
case-
true that that proposal came to us and we rejected it, because some of us, even who were candidates,
Okay.
wanted
But-
that one.
but
Because we
in-
had the very peaceful elections during COVID. The ones which delivered us, they were...
Yeah, but you
But
see,
I think the issue is in the event that both systems are not tenable, and that the NRM is going to continue being here. So we are going to have more elections of SEC in future. What is the system that is tenable?
Okay.
Well, I think we have to draw lessons from what happened in Kororo.
Okay.
One, we must condemn and fight the excessive use of money. There are candidates who spent over 20 billion from our simple informal counting. And one would wonder, why invest all those billions in SEC? I have been there for 5 years. I wouldn't invest even 500 million in that SEC position.
Because what do you get in return?
Dr. Tango Odoi has been with us there. He's a member as the chair of the Electoral Commission. I was not getting even a single shilling as being a member of SEC. So why would somebody invest billions to sit there? But what I also saw, many people,
Wouldn't it be the privilege of being next to power?
well, I don't know. I think people have different reasons for wanting to join the SEC. Some
Yeah.
think when
Yeah.
you are there, you can negotiate for deals when you are there. Some think you are close to the president, therefore you can get some privileges, maybe what. But I think many of them are mistaken. And I'm sure they will get disappointed along the way.
May I just interject that as a manager of the whole process of election once it started, I managed 2015, 2020, and this one. This one was extraordinary. The number of candidates in every unit kept increasing. Because if you come to the candidates for SEC, these were 300 people. 300. Now,
Too many.
what do you use to lower the number in
but
a
how,
democratic
how
sense
Dr. Tango
to
Odoi,
make it whatever?
So,
The party, I think what is said and what you don't want to accept, you, Mwenda said it here. NRM looks like it has captured the ground better than before.
but
It is now seen-
RPF is even better.
It
They
is
win
seen-
elections by 99.8%.
No, we are not comparing.
No, I am comparing you to other mass
No,
parties.
we are just still on our own.
All military parties are the same.
Let us first go on our own.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, my reading is the population has appreciated the party more than before.
Yeah, you did wonder they have appreciated it even more.
The interventions the government has made into the population looks like it has actually got the party more following. Now, when you come to the candidates, we levied fees, expression of interest fees. People paid 3 million. How many did we have for parliament? 2,750, which had never been a parliamentary position.
Doctor,
So if you see that wave into Kololo, you see determined faces ready to vie, to fight for positions. Even positions within the leagues was highly competed for. The only thing I saw, which I need to say, and is a good whatever, is that there is a bit of more Western region taking hold of most of the position. Because if you see the leagues, democratic, yes, but has been taken by a region. Bunyoro up to Kasese.
It is their party.
That is the only thing maybe we have to debate. But the enthusiasm, that interest for the party has been too high.
You see, when NRM was being registered, I was a journalist here. In one of those meetings, the president used to hold at conference center here. He told Haji Chigongo, Honorable Jaberi Bidandisari, who went to register the party, he used the word shock and awe. You must 2 million must accompany you when you are registering a party. Yet even one person, because Tango Odoi is overwhelmed by the number of candidates. Bayomus is very happy. Their membership is 18 million. This is abnormal.
How?
The Communist Party in China, what is the membership, Tango Odoi, of the Communist Party?
The Communist Party is divided.
No, what is the membership? And you know, and you have mentioned, that's why I'm asking you. I was with you on the show and you mentioned it. The Conservative Party in UK, I think the total membership is about 210,000. You cannot say that everybody in UK, this is conscription, that everybody is a member. You have 18 million. They said 20. And then, look, I have said here, people in Palestine who are dying, every day they go to queue for food at these zones created by Israel and America, and they get killed. But they have nothing to eat, so the following day they will return. You saw a full figure in Kololo on camera. We want money, we came here for money, everybody wants money. You see, Museveni has moved away. When he came here from Owelo, they had the National Resistance Council. The Kategayas, the Mushega, the Dandesari, the Njuba, the Muntus. That was the quality in their resistance council. But I don't think they were more than 150. And they used to have a discussion. And then they had some other groups. Today, Museveni goes to Kololo, like he had as a
What
man.
was the population of Uganda then?
The population of Uganda, the first census that was done under Museveni was 16 million in 1991.
It was all.
When he came away, 14
We are now
million.
40 something.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the first, so for me,
Yes.
say it is intentional. The man goes like, because one herdsman will have 20,000 heads of cattle and he will be there whistling and enjoying. That's what happens in Kololo. That's why Tango Odoi, who is responsible
But
for
it
election,
depends how you have
is
set
there
up your
and
party.
he says, you see, even the president came down and he said,
Their
what
party
is
is
what is
like-
happening? What is, you simply
their party is like
you can't
ANC.
have a conference
No, it must depend how you have
of
set up.
30,000 people. That's not a conference.
No, it depends.
30,000.
Thank you, Honorable Sumudi.
That's
Yes,
why you end up
Honorable
seeing
Minister,
I was
before I
saying-
come
on
Doctor,
TV saying
it
we
are-
want the money. It is money that has brought
Yes.
us here.
It depends how you have set up.
And for them, they are only after one thing. How can they transfer power from Museveni's hands to his son? But most of them, they don't know. Even Tango Odoi has spoken about it. That now the party is one region. From Bunyoro, Ankole to Kigezi. That's only, all the leadership is that side. And when you try to look at the flag bearers of NRM in the Buganda region, they are all from one side, from our neighboring country. Now, where are we going? The party is being taken by its own original owners. Now Ugandans have to open your eyes. If Tango Odoi can speak that, there to Museveni, that the party is being taken away by one region, Babi Manye Bigenda Maso.
You are political parties. In ANC, for instance, South Africa, they have members and supporters. So the members are those who register, pay a membership fee, and have a card, the membership card. Then when you go to elections, they are those who support the ANC.
That's
but in our case,
that's what in every party.
No. In our case, we have chosen to ask Ugandans who want to be members to become members, and we have registered them. And there is nothing wrong with that one.
Doctor,
so it depends what you choose.
So don't cry that Kololo was small. If you said everybody must be a member. Next time you need to go to heaven, because even number will become small. Yeah, if anyone is saying that you're going to have 30,000, Kololo is huge. That Kololo is huge. They can't fit there. And Williams says it is okay.
Dr. Tango Odoi, there are two questions that
There's
came
something
from the person that sent the text. The numerical question, but also the opportunity for you to recuse yourself from the Youth League chairperson.
No, I think, first of all,
why? Because his son was a candidate.
Yes. Do you call registrars to announce the winners? I think registrars work independently, and that's why some of them make mistakes. They make independent mistakes. I can't call registrars across the country that announce this one, not this. I would have announced Bariomus, for example, because I've been with him more than the person who has taken over Western region. I don't. The other one I told him in Makerere years ago. So I don't have that leverage. I don't have that leverage. And second, I was controlling this election, these processes, through other commissioners. We divided ourselves such that one was dealing with PWDs, another dealing with the workers, another dealing with... So that I was only dealing with the overall. And also coming in case there were altercations here and there, like you say, because of the crowd. So I didn't do that. Why do you choose to line up? That's what the Constitution says. We must line up. That's the Constitution. And lining up a method is not bad. It's just people who messed it up. It's a very transparent system. You don't have people behind you, you have lost. Then another one asked, how do you rate yourself? Very high. To handle that election and reach that extent amidst the few odds here and there, I think as a commission we did very well. And then about my son and the league, which sounds very interesting, and something which is, we set parameters that for one to qualify to be this, one must be age this to that, 18 to 35. And we're helped by the legal fraternity. Now, when they come from 18 to 35, the elders were coming from 55 to 55 and above, older persons. Yet by law, the older persons in the Constitution should be 60 years and above. But for mobilization, that is how we're advised. I want to be clear about that.
That's how we defined old age in NRM.
In NRM. Now, they were saying, I did that because my son is 31 years or 32 years. No. It was not only my son benefiting from it. This was used from village level in a college system election up to the national level. It so happened that he also rigged through and is now at the national level. And even at the national level, if he doesn't have votes, the line will be short. Now, what happened about the youth election was very unfortunate. The starting point of youth election was a candidate started on money. We are either paid or no election. And you know, money stirs up everything. All the youth now join. We want our money. The Electoral Commission of the party must pay us, who are not responsible for any payment. That was not our area. That was a secretariat. And all payments were supposed to be made through administrative secretaries. Since these youth were coming from different villages, different districts, their admins were handling them. Some had even been paid. Now, their election was to be on 26th. But like he said, we had very huge elections. When we sat at secretariat, I had told secretariat staff, the team, that let's decentralize some of these elections. We have cricket oval. Take the youth to cricket oval. We have another ground, the other side of that Lugogo, cricket and something.
It's called Millennium Park.
Take the elders there. The advantage would be you elect and only the elected go back to Colonel. Because those who are supposed to have been elected, that population was supposed to have gone back home after their election. The only ones elected would be moving to the National Conference. We are denied that chance. We're even saying MOOBs, where we're actually doing accreditation from, we would even have ground in the MOOBs and do some elections from that way. Because 24,000 people brought under one, in one whatever, was a huge task. Now, it came to the point that when they were in Kololo, I mean in MUBS, accreditation became a problem. Unfortunately, even one of our delegates died. I think was sickly and overstayed in the line.
From the district of Kwen.
The district of Kwen. Now, once the accreditation system failed, people the next day had to come and force their way in. And that's what Dr. Chris is saying. Some of them were genuine, others were not genuine. Now, as Electoral Commission, we stuck to reading the register to as much as we could. But politicians being what they are now mobilizing some of these people to even interrupt that. So how did we handle it with our staff? We handled to as much as we can. And we succeeded with older persons very well. The PWDs, we had a very good election, apart from the complaint I'm hearing that there was also a bit of supporters of candidates. One of the candidates who lost actually raised that, and I found he had some whatever. Supporters of candidates were yelling here and would even infiltrate, which was unfortunate, because PWDs are they're easily marked. And we had a very good election. The only elections we didn't have was the Entrepreneur League, because that's where the managers were.
The candidates the delegates had gone missing.
Yes, the delegates were whatever, but through consensus it has been resolved.
Yeah.
The youth election, I think they had the last sitting today, because once we had elected and declared the winner, unfortunately being my son, the advice was, if you have a petition, take it to the tribunal. They had sittings, I think yesterday and today, and they are now waiting for the ruling. Whatever is ruled is what we shall go by. Now, there are other elections of the youth, and the youth are watching, which must be done. Youth members of parliament.
Okay.
The 555. I think next week I'll issue a guideline and issue the days, and we vote.
Professor, let's raise this debate to the national level.
Yeah.
And one thing, Timothy, I forgot.
Yes.
Your things will not end.
People think Ugandans are stupid. That Ugandans will do the same thing, the same Mujus are saying, they are going to do the same thing in election. No, you members of the opposition always cause confusion at national level.
So we are the ones in Kololo?
No, Kololo was ours. But don't blame any chaos that because NLM had chaos, you will have. No. It doesn't work like that. You yourselves have chaos.
Okay.
So we are the ones in Kololo causing chaos.
Professor, let's raise this conversation to the national general elections that are coming.
Okay.
The NDP4 has a 10-year plan to get us to 500 billion. But when you look at this ambition,
the performance of
$500 billion.
The performance of NDP3 was 16 to 18%.
And with what Honorable Samujua said,
According to whose evaluation?
When
National Planning Authority.
when you look at the ambition of the country that is given, that we are looking at ATMs, we're looking at ATMs, agriculture, technology, all those. And then we look at the political bureaucracy and the red tape. Where is the missing link? Because at the end of the day, a Ugandan is the grass of these elephants.
Wow. Thank you very much. So you're talking about the NDP, which is very technical.
Yes.
And the politicians who are actually supposed to be legislative. And in between there is an executive, which is supposed to deliver on the policy directions that Parliament gives, of course supported with the appropriation of funding.
True.
By Parliament. And I think the technical lines are still taking place. I know politicians over time have usurped some executive functions, but I think this has largely been because of the limited reach of our executive functions. Many of the rural areas don't have enough leaders at the districts to go and do, for example, all the extension that has to be done, all the road construction that has to be done and everything. So over time you find politicians stepping in to provide, depending on how well resourced that politician is. I know in Kenya they do what they call the Constituency Development Fund. I think in Uganda did try it sometime, but in Kenya it's very standard that as a senator you're given this money and you go and implement whatever development project you have to be. Yet in real terms, that should also not have been necessary. That money should have been put in the executive to go and do that kind of thing.
That's the performance of your government.
Yeah, so now you find and also because politicians promise us that during the elections, they promise us they're going to bring bridges, they're going to bring roads, they're going to bring health facilities. So, and we said Ugandans are not dummies. They remember. So if you promise this, where are you at this level of provisioning? So I think the NDP4 is well intentioned. It has very good strategies, but these have to be developed or implemented by the technical wing of government, or the technical arm of government. So I think we should be a little bit fair when we are blaming politicians for some of the things not translating, because ideally it shouldn't be their work. And that's why a politician like an MP, even if it's just a road councillor or whatever at the lower level, they go in and the only thing they are sure of is their salary.
Then we
because they are paid for participating in making laws. And so if you have access to more resources, like maybe if you're a minister, then you can use those other resources. And also, of course, if you're in second, you have strategic linkages, you can bring development to your area. But if you don't, you'll just become an MP and people will think you're non-performing. So that is one thing. But the other thing which we shouldn't forget, even when we say the youth election did not occur, we are a very young population. And this young population is largely constituted by younger people. And what we are seeing as diversity, even democracy within the NRM, is because the youth are restless. The youth want to see things happening, but the things are not happening as fast as they want to see them. So they are going to be in these structures, and where the structures don't meet their interests, they will actually try to expand them or to explode them. And that's why he mentioned about many university elections normally go with police. Wherever we have a guild election in a university, the first thing you deploy is the police, because you expect that there will be violence. Many times there's no violence, but many times there's also violence. So the youth are restless, the youth are many. The youth, as he says, maybe need money before they can do anything, but also because they are coming from spaces where they don't have many opportunities. So such processes are the processes that give them access to money. So for me, when I look at that demographic, I see it more as a dividend, because they aspire to higher standards. They are not just idealists. They think they deserve better, and they are deserving better within the NRM. So I think from these kinds of motions we are seeing, the party might actually improve. If we are to talk about rebuilding, they are going to demand more. That's why there's a whole petition on the chairperson of the NRM EC, well written, because they think he should have recused himself. He did not. They are demanding for what better system. They are demanding for what better system.
I just didn't resign, but I did.
They are asking what better system are you leaving behind when you leave. So there are all these processes, and by all those processes have youth. The winner and the loser, they are all youth. So they are having a contest. The fight was amongst youth, younger people. So younger people deserve better. They are well connected, they are globally connected, and they wonder why things do not work. So going back to the ATMs and politicians, I don't see it as a problem. Politicians lead people, and when they lead people, they tell the message they give to the people is one of things being better, okay? But they should, how I wish there is a process where the politicians would know that it's not their duty to deliver the resources, but push the executive to do more. But for that, we will need actually an expanded executive.
Think that way.
Yeah, we shall need an expanded executive that has a far reach, and that's a long way. So in the interim, what we have are politicians.
And my last question before I come to the Honourable Minister. An ultimatum has been given by a faction of Muslims in Kawempe, and this is a very sensitive question.
Okay.
Dr. Tango Odoi hinted on SEC having a certain region, but also these particular group of Muslims have said we're giving the National Unity Platform 7 days to be able to change a few things so that we are also represented. When did we sink to ethnicity?
Identity now. That's it.
And how do we come out of this? Because this could be 1994, what happened in Rwanda.
Yeah, you see,
Uganda cannot reach that.
We may not, maybe because of our ethnic diversity, we may not reach there. We don't have a population which is more than 10% in this country. I think everybody is a minority. Every group is a minority, although some minorities are a little bit bigger. Now, I think what you are seeing in NUP could have been in the NRM, but the NRM had the capacity to organize an election, however problematic, where people stood behind and decided. I am not a member of NUP, but what I hear from NUP is there's disgruntlement on how the delegates were decided. First of all, they didn't have what you saw nationally with the NRM primaries, that every village sent somebody to that level to be a flag bearer. What we heard from NUP is that the party decided and sent people to areas. So people just had to appeal to the headquarters, and the headquarters then, since I'm not a member, I don't know, but some got in and some didn't get in. So this is likely to create a problem, because such processes which are not transparent will be easily debated. It will be the same if the Dr. Tango Odoi suggestion goes through, whereby not everyone comes to Kololo Nambole, whereby SEC decides who comes. People are going to ask, what criteria did you use? Even if you are the most well-intentioned person on earth, people are going to debate that. So you can now see SEC, I don't know whether the NRM SEC has a Muslim, but no one has raised that matter, because everyone presented themselves. Those who wanted to present, and they got in or they didn't get in. And if you didn't get in, people are in the tribunal.
Jabasa Jabala is a Muslim.
Okay, yeah, okay, but he came in later. He's not in your first picture.
He's a Muslim.
But now you see
for sake, the chairman has also a constitutional prerogative of nominating five eminent persons.
Okay.
And he's usually very cautious to balance the different
To balance, but you see that is written down.
Odoi Lero
came
last time, and she's a female from Western Nile, a Muslim also.
It is written and it is known, okay? But I am not very conversant with the NUP things, but the complaints we had, and that's why there's a reported rift within NUP, is that people are not happy with how the leaders decided who the flag bearers are, who are then being sent to the areas. So it's like there's no facilitation to do primaries the way you had them at national level for NRM, but as the secretariat, we decide who should be your councillor for Makerere, who should be your councillor for Makindye, who should be. But the people of Makindye who are NUP aligned have not participated in saying who should be our councillor. So that is going to be a contested matter. And since it's the secretariat that did it, it is only fair that those who feel left out should make that demand to the secretariat. So it's not an issue of heading towards Rwanda being ethnic. It's like saying, can you appreciate the diversity with which we come into your party? Yeah.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, fortunately,
we are two ministers here.
Which
I am Shadow Minister for Finance. So which one do you are referring for?
I would have said Honorable Shadow Minister, but now
a minister with a small M.
It's small M.
Yes.
Honorable Minister, when you look,
am I not better than some of your fake ministers?
When you look at especially what happened within your National Delegates Conference, but we bring it on the national scene, the general elections that are coming, the messaging, the languaging, you are in charge of the docket of national guidance.
Yes.
How do you message to quell whatever emotions, steaming, whatever languaging is coming from the aspirants
they will
and
the
candidates before we ban our country?
Yes, we draw lessons from what has been going on, both from the primaries for the NRM, where flag bearers were declared, then they are discontented candidates. Some of them went to the tribunal. The tribunal has announced the verdicts.
7 of them.
And we did recommend, actually, in the SEC before we left, that the party should constitute teams of senior NRM leaders to go to the countryside in the districts and reconcile
but the
members.
Senior leaders, the Kakadaga, have also lost, so she needs to be reconciled.
Yeah, she cannot. Yeah, even her, she needs to be
reconciled.
cancelled and reconciled.
You're going to send a
she's not the only senior leader, there are other senior leaders. And not
reconcile Kadaga.
So there is a need. Luckily enough, the Independent Electoral Commission has extended the days for nominations for members of parliament to October.
Yes.
So there is some time. September and the half of October, the party should utilize that space to constitute teams that can travel to the districts, highlighting even where the hotspots are, to reconcile the members. Because when you listen to many of those who participated in the primaries, many of them are saying, we are coming back as independents, we are coming back. So there is a need for some work to be done to harmonize and reconcile members.
Who reconciles the country?
I've said it's senior leaders in the party. The party has many
And not
leaders.
the NRM, the country, because already these parties are tearing people against each other.
Oh, you mean, okay.
You were in charge of national guidance.
Yes.
How do you reconcile the country?
He's more concerned with NRM.
No.
But many of the
Okay.
losers, like in the NRM, considered defeat and have pledged to work with the
But we have
winners.
60 that have left NUP and moved elsewhere.
Or maybe NUP.
We also have others that have left.
So I initially had dealt on
now as a
NRM,
member, a
but
minister now.
for the political players in the country, we have different platforms. For instance, we have the National Consultative Forum, which is a platform that brings together all registered parties.
Honorable
We
Minister,
have a
that is
platform.
very elitist. My grandmother, how is she going to listen to the National Consultative Forum?
No, I'm saying there are platforms which bring together political parties. We have iPod, and you can say that is the one area where we can get teams
iPod
that
is
can
like
speak to
for
Ugandans.
money.
Speak to, unless if you have faith, no faith. It's a constitutional body established that brings together all political parties. And I'm saying,
We are missing it.
if we are to give a message to political players and stakeholders, we need platforms like those to come in. We have iPod, for instance, which brings together parties which have representation in parliament. Only that some of the parties have not been as active and don't have faith in some of those platforms. But you see, we need to look at the country being bigger than these individual parties or individual political players. So if we have faith and trust in some of these institutions, so they can play a big role in reconciling different parties, whether NRM, whether NUP, or these emerging parties. Like if there's an issue in NUP, we are not happy as NRM that NUP is disintegrating because of the methodology they are using to get flag bearers. So those platforms, where like in the National Consultative Forum, NRM takes the leadership, the leader, they can take charge of reconciling parties and different stakeholders at that level. So it is not lost. It is not lost, but we definitely must listen to what the people are saying. Like if we are saying the method used by NUP has resulted into those cracks, then they should be fixed before the party disintegrates and crumbles completely. And regarding NRM, with respect to what happened in Kororo, I think there was a storm, but a storm in a teacup. I wouldn't want to think that what happened in Kororo has significantly fractured NRM. It has not. It has not.
Has it significantly fractured the country?
No. If NRM is not fractured, then the country is not fractured.
Okay.
Yes.
Honorable
So those mishaps, like I said, we learn from them, and their propositions we are making, the kind of reforms which the party needs to look at as we go forward. So the difference between what happened in Kororo and the next gen elections, like I said, first of all, Kororo, the main issue was huge numbers assembled in one place, voting in a short period because you are lining up. There's a world of difference between what happened in Kororo and what will happen now in the general elections. In the general elections, we have polling stations which are constituted of a few villages together. Voting is from 7 to 4 p.m. It is a secret ballot. The exercise is even more resourced in terms of financial resources, in terms of human resource.
Okay.
So it's managed better. So I don't think the confusion we had in our internal party elections will be exported to the Awakama elections. And maybe for your information, we are also now going to use the mandatory biometric voter verification in the
Which
next
you have not
elections.
sensitized the general public.
I am now sensitizing you.
I am not the general public.
No, what that means is that currently the law says the Electoral Commission may use biometric technology to verify the voters. And we are changing the law to say the Electoral Commission shall use. So we are making it mandatory. So that when a voter presents himself or herself at the polling station, he will have to be verified using the the technology,
Okay.
either by
But how long will that take
thumbprint.
to do data capture first? Because you still have
We've
to
done
do-
all those simulations,
okay.
and it should work. It should be able
I
to work.
see.
So they either use the thumbprint or facial recognition. We're making all those arrangements. But we shall ask you for airtime on UBC to educate the masses about that.
Honorable Semuju, I saw
So
you
I don't
shake-
expect
18
any
million.
big problem simply because parties have had challenges in their internal process, that these challenges will be exported to the general election. No.
And
Sure.
we'll discuss that because we had a discussion on that sometime, electronic voting,
Yeah.
where we discussed the time it takes. But Honorable Semuju, you were
We
shaking
tested
your-
it in the cabinet,
No, no,
and it was taking around even less than a minute.
No, it was 2 minutes. It was 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Were you in the cabinet?
No, hasn't in cabinet. I have done research on
But
it.
now the data capture has to be for the 18 million voters
Honorable
first. So
Semuju,
yes.
More than 18 million.
you were shaking
18
your
million.
head when you were listening to Honorable
24.
Chris
24
speaking
million.
there. How do you see Kololo play out in the general elections? And you have been a player and a journalist.
I am happy.
What are your
that,
concerns?
I am happy that the managers of the chaotic Kololo elections, who were voting in darkness, lining up and failing each face and everybody to participate in the exercise, they are now insisting and insistent on biometric voter identification. I am very happy. They know this is a better process. But what bothers me, the point you asked Chris Wayomus, is when I was shaking my head. He says, when NRM is okay, the country is okay. This afternoon I asked Parliament, because I was looking for a minister to come and tell us. I was in Mitiana last week as a chief of staff and a brand manager of PFF to open an office for my party, train leaders, swear in leaders for the Buganda sub-region. And the police said you can't have that function in open space. There, as I in Kololo, they sent us 3 kilometers from town to a Catholic church hall. And I said, let's go and have it, even if it is 10 kilometers. We had another function of opening the office. That's why we had gotten that open space near the office. Then after the function, we said, let's go back and now open the office and return to Kampala. He said, you are in a procession, tear gas. Why are you in a procession? I said, but you see, the function of opening an office is going to take place when all of us are there. He said, no, you are in a procession. But you are the ones who have walked us 3 kilometers from town. This afternoon, I told the Honorable David Moores, Minister of State for Internal Affairs, at the function in Weyogere, as an MP to meet people on their request. He said, why are you putting tents here? It is a rally. They took the tents and the chairs. So I asked David Moores, he said, let me call the director of operations. He said, where I was putting the function is near a police. I said, what a better place.
There's no other better place than
Tell you that
security.
there is absolutely no problem. We even brought it near where you are. Said, why are you bringing it near police? So they stopped the function. Now I had to find transport, take people to my office in Chirinya. So the issue I raised in Parliament was the shrinking civic space. And I told them my leader, Dr. Besiki, founder and senior member who brought this government to power, and Museveni, is in prison 8 months. We were processing candidates. Sam Mugumia, who is supposed to be candidate in the Kunjiri municipality, was abducted. Up to now, today, we presented an application to court asking government to produce him.
Either dead or alive.
Yes, and these are not the only people who are abducted. So the environment under which we do politics. And you can see the security institutions, the NRM has conditioned them and the worker under very difficult conditions to allow you to do any work. They are pleading with you not to do any political work. Because nominations for local governments have started today with districts. They are going to end on Friday. And then you go for municipalities and I think sub-counties starting the other week. If you can't allow a secretary general of a political party to have a smaller function in Wegere, and I am required to present nearly more than 500,000 candidates for councillors, and then you tell me for you, a mass party, when you are in Kololo, they have made the Kololo very dirty. I don't know who is responsible now for cleaning
Dr. Tango Odoi.
They were in Nakawa, they are everywhere. For them, they can do their work, they can do mobilization, they can do recruitment, recruit everybody, including, interestingly, the first register of Tango Odoi, Chris Williams was not there. They had forgotten him. He had to be fixed in.
There are 24 million voters, national of the NRM.
Yeah, because in NRM everybody is a voter.
Okay.
So that worries me. And
I'm a member of Gwebare village in the Kayumba sub-county.
The issue you asked the Honorable Chris Williams, and with people like Tango Odoi Williams, who are part of the managers, please, when you are there, be kind to the country. You cannot accuse us of being small. When we are stretching our legs, you are hitting us. I am a new party.
Keep small.
Yes, I am a new party. I want to reach every corner of the country. I have told you I visited Chisolo personally, home of a person who has worked at home for the last 20 years. Police came, 2 patrols. Semuju, why are you here? Why didn't you notify the authority that you are visiting?
A big person.
In Chisolo. I called, notify police that I am visiting a friend in Chisolo. So I had to call police headquarters to have, because the time they came I was preparing, I was cooking a pilau. So they even found me in a plantation where we said, why are you here? The OC, then you called reinforcement. So there are areas where you can't even go. How do you expect me to raise candidates in Chisolo?
Okay.
So really,
we always host the opposition people there.
I have told you I was shocked. It was my first time around Wunagana.
You must have provoked
you had gone to the border.
In a banana plantation cooking pilau. Maybe I was provoking.
Why were you cooking in a banana plantation?
I was provoking a banana.
Why were you cooking in a banana plantation?
Okay, please
let me answer.
Lastly,
Let me answer. He has asked me a question.
Yeah.
If we read the population and housing census report, people who are cooking from open space in Uganda are 20%. In Karamoja it is 60%.
So you're part of that. But they don't include you.
The person I was visiting doesn't have a kiyungu, so I was.
So why don't you pay him well?
Okay.
You said your worker.
Doctor, what are your
that was his home.
What are your learnings from your process, and how can we improve it? Come 2031.
It's a learning process. We had few areas.
For 40 years you are still learning.
We had few areas. That's why even a woman of 6 births, the 7th you actually have to be tutored.
No, because you are supposed to have stopped.
You have to.
So you are supposed
so I think it's a learning experience. It's a learning experience. What we failed on, we should actually go and revisit and do better.
Each NRM election is worse than the previous.
No, I think every election betters. We are improving. We are improving. We are better off. The only thing is that COVID did not allow us to experiment then with mass election. Now, everyone was eager to come, and they came. Next time, better. I think next time we should decentralize a bit of this election and have it in different places.
After there's going to be biometric.
Okay. Yeah, even the trickle-down effect should go to other areas as well. Because if hotels are booked, hotels will be booked elsewhere.
That case, let's bring it to our places.
Professor Sarah, as a country, with the learnings from all this in other political players, how does an individual, a family, prepare themselves so that we do not have any mishap, any violence? How do we secure our own country?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think in this country there are people who are mandated with providing security, and that is the police. And beyond the security apparatus like the police, I mean, there are basic things you do at a household level to ensure there are locks, there is shelter, there are so many things. I think other than that, it's to be good law-abiding citizens. For example, we've seen many people who are advocating for not using hateful speech, not being so abusive, because this process is a very short process. Thereafter, you're going to continue coexisting in the village. The people in charge of national guidance, I think we will have to continue advocating for peace and coexistence. There's supposed to be something called civic education. I don't know how far and what the program for civic education is going to be. So what I'm trying to say that as individuals, you can do this much or this little. Beyond that, there are mandated offices in the country that provide civic education, that can provide security, that can actually amplify the different efforts of the people. But on a personal level, people have to learn to coexist. They have to learn to be more tolerant. They have to learn to disagree, but not disagree violently, because at the end of the election, after the election is over, you're going to continue coexisting in that village. And I think Ugandans, we have tried to do that very well. That's why in many communities, people can actually, they could take your money if you give it to them and they will not vote for you, but they will not tell you are not going to vote for you. Because I think Ugandans as a people are very careful about not offending others, because they really understand the need to coexist after these processes. So until maybe people, but even then I've also not seen leaders inciting people to the extent that people lose themselves and follow the leaders and forget their neighbors, even when they're on different political platforms. So I think I am confident that the elections will go well. I'm also happy that we are picking lessons from what has happened in all different political processes. You remember there's a time when we never checked voters' register. After 1996, people started checking voters' register. So every election brings on board lessons that we evaluate. Human society, we are dynamic. There is no constant in human society. People learn, and there are new behaviors that come, there are old behaviors that have to go. And with each process, there are new learnings. Yeah, so, and people learn and we improve. So if we are to go biometric, I think that is a good strategy. But how I wish it would go nationally, the only thing is it's going to be very expensive. I've been in entities where biometrics work, but it's quite an expensive process.
It's slow? Okay.
And so if there is no power on that day, there will be no biometric captured. So
let me read some feedback that has come through. This is Captain Mike Mukula sends a message and says, the Communist Party of China holds its National Congress, sometimes which is called the Delegates Conference, once every 5 years. At most, the most recent, the 20th Congress it brought together 2,296 delegates who represented the party's membership of 96 million. These delegates came across China provinces,
2,000.
And the municipalities, the army forces, various industries. The next 21st National Conference is expected in 2027, and we expect 2,296 delegates, okay? Thank you for the show. Please extend my regards to the gentleman and lady. My question goes to Honorable Chris. Do they think, and Dr. Tanga, do they think that in the future the NRM processes will be credible?
No.
And do they think that a former senior lecturer is a highly valued intellectual to make mistakes of counting to favor the candidates that they alleged? Why wouldn't you blame Dr. Tango Odoi for the mess at Kololo, since he was overall presiding officer? My other question, why did you announce the candidate who withdrew, yet he was still evidently on? Evaristo from Kawempe, okay?
Who is that candidate?
I think the candidate they mean is...
Raigaga.
Let me see the name. Pascal Nantamba.
At what level?
At the National League, National Youth League.
Nantamba Pascal had issues in court.
Dr. Tango Odoi and Bariomusi should not cry about the excesses of money in elections. They are the ones who condone it, and those are some of the gains of the NRM that it is protecting.
Yeah,
their symbol is money and gun.
From Busia. Okay, finally, final comment here. Okay, this one is asking about something that is not there. Those are the comments. We'll leave it at that, and we'll end it with this. Dr. Sarah, thank you for coming. Professor.
Yes.
Dr. Tango Odoi, thank you. Honorable Semuju, Honorable Minister.
We're not answering.
Which one?
No, who told you that you were going to answer?
He was asking whether we think the process will be credible in the future, and the answer is yes. And we are going to amend the constitution and straighten.
We'll end with this quote. Goals are for people who care about winning once. Systems are for people who care.
Okay, that is it. I'm so happy ndi musanyufu nti naba enamo kati bakiraba nti ekibiina bakibatwalako mina abo kati obwongo bugguse batandise okulengerayo bijo tebalabayo nga tubagaba omusajja atwala ekintu kye mulimba kati olaba Tango Odoi agamba Museveni nti sebo ekibiina kati mushuto ekifu kya side em manya kigenze ate nga kigenze temukyaddamu kukirabako mwenna bagenda basenza luti baagalamu bantu abwe bokka mulindewo wave egenda okujja nga badduka emisinde